My name is Andy. I am the director and co-founder of Bulk Festival and Bulk Creative Arts. I am a white male in my 30s, and I have a slightly goatee, scraggly beard and unkept hair. I am going to sort of give you a little rundown of what's going to happen this evening, and then sort of give you a introduction to the festival as well. Just as a sort of, today is one of my favorite events as part of the run up to the festival, because for us, it turns what is a massive spreadsheet into real people. And it's really lovely to see so many of you here. And it makes it all feel very worthwhile and not just sort of screaming at jigsaw puzzles or spreadsheets. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us as part of the festival. We're really, really chuffed to have you all with us. This is our first digital meet and greet that we've done. So do bear with us. Adele's been doing a fantastic job at organising it. But yeah, we have normally done this event in person, and we will be doing a sort of second follow-up event in January, an in-person one. So please do put that in your diaries as well. And then you come down and we'll have a few drinks, and we'll kind of be able to sort of mingle and talk a little bit more as we can. So this evening, I'm going to give you a little introduction to the festival. We'll then hear from each of our kind of department heads and the various people responsible for different aspects of the festival. We're going to kind of do a chance to sort of Q&As after each couple of department talks. So yeah, if you've got any questions that are kind of general, you can ask them in the chat, as Adele said. You can preface with the word question. It just makes it nice and easy for us to find them. And then after that, after we've kind of done all the kind of introductions and the little talks from each of our departments, we'll then kind of effectively sort of wrap up the content side of things, and we have some breakout rooms that we'll create, and each of the departments that we all hear from will have a different breakout rooms if you want to go and talk to a specific person. So if you want to go and talk to Izzy about press, or if you want to go and talk to Rosie about sales, you can go in, you can ask them a question, and then you can go off and find a different breakout room if you want as well. You're also welcome to leave at that point. If you've got everything you want to get out of it this evening, you can duck out. We'll also leave the main channel open here. If you want to kind of mingle and talk with other people, you can as well. So yeah, and then we'll wrap up, and then that'll be us. So let us make a start. So first question I have on my list is, what is Vault Festival? So 2022's festival will be our 10th anniversary, and as I said, it's really lovely to be sharing it with you guys, and so thank you very much for being part of it. When we started the festival back in 2012, we never planned to do it more than once. It was a one-off project created by the Heritage Arts Company in 2012. We sort of discovered the fascinating labyrinth of tunnels underneath Waterloo Station, which has subsequently sort of become the Vaults, which is a year-round venue in its own right now. And so we found those tunnels and decided to sort of put some shows in it, populated it with 3 long weekends in February. We had about 20 shows, a couple of parties and a cinema. It was, as with all these projects, potentially disastrous, and was a massive undertaking. We were a young company at the time, and for some reason it worked. Against all odds, about 7,000 people came, audience members, very much thanks to sort of the hard work of a tiny team, the unwavering commitment of the artists, and a willingness of our audiences to sort of believe and support in the mission and values of the festival. We didn't do a festival in 2013. We were, to be honest, exhausted from 2012, and the thought of doing it again was the last thing on our minds. But throughout that year, people kept asking us, when's it coming back? When are you going to do it again? And we started to sort of think about the idea and how it could develop. So we sort of started to say, what could it be? Could we improve it? Which the answer was yes, absolutely, 100%. Could we expand it? Maybe. Could we turn it into a more sustainable opportunity for artists who are struggling to find affordable ways to present work, especially in central London? And that's what we kind of wanted to do. So we returned in 2014 with a bit more of a defined ambition, a much longer run, more shows, and a slightly bigger team. We saw a bit of an opportunity to create something unique, a playground for early and mid-career artists from all performance styles and backgrounds, which we wanted to allow artists to try stuff out without breaking the bank. We hoped to enable our artists to reach new audiences, build networks and connections that would elevate their careers to new levels. This plan and this ethos is pretty much the same as from 2014. Every festival we've hosted since then, we've had more artists and more audiences than the last. There's a stupid statistic that we grew, I think, 1,000% in our first 7 festivals, but that growth is largely for 2 reasons. Firstly, it was to meet the demands of the artists. The number of artists who want to present work in London is extraordinary, and we do our best to sort of enable as many of these as we can. Secondly, it's just the more properly we try to do things, the more we learn, the more expensive things become. So part of the growth has been about trying to make the festival's income cover the growing festival's costs. We do remain an independent, unfunded organisation. So for us, every penny counts in terms of whether we can afford to do it again in the future. Our most recent festival, 2020, was due to host 616 artists, different shows across 88 weeks, and was on course to welcome over 86,000 people. The COVID outbreak, as you'll be familiar with by now, meant the final week of the festival was cancelled. 97 artists that week lost their opportunity to perform, and also pretty much brought the festival to the brink of extinction. We decided very early on in June of 2020 to postpone 2021's festival. We felt it was too risky, and we couldn't go ahead in good faith, knowing that we would be asking artists and audiences to trust us that it would be fine. However, we believe more than ever in the mission and the importance of what the platform that the festival is, and we sort of started to see it as an opportunity, and an unfortunate opportunity, but one that we could actually make some real changes to the organisation and hopefully kind of ensure it can survive. So our first change was to set up Vault Creative Arts. Vault Creative Arts is a not-for-profit company en route to becoming a charity. So Vault Creative Arts has taken on the producing of the festival from Heritage Arts, and ensures that the festival has the governance, leadership, and access to funds and things it needs in order to survive. It also means it's protected a bit from being for-profit, so there's no one benefiting out of the festival. It's all being reinvested into making the festival better and surviving. We also then sort of initiated a change of leadership. So Matt, my colleague and kind of co-founder, sorry, we knew that in order for the festival to continue, it needed to be able to live longer than our ability to be able to do it, because at that point it was pretty much Matt and I pulling it along and bringing in a big team of freelancers to do it every year. So we've put in place a new team, many of whom are on this call now, and we sort of transitioned to start having employees for the first time, which is a big change, but one that hopefully means that the organisation can move to its sort of next stage of its life. Just to sort of say, so Vault Creative Arts' purpose is to inspire people to affect positive change through creativity. We have the scope as Vault Creative Arts to do the festival, but also we are kind of building our opportunities throughout the year, that's artist development opportunities and the like. And so Vault Creative Arts and Vault Festival remains independent and receives their core funding. We were extremely grateful to have received cultural recovery funding this year, as well as support from Warner Media and Lambeth Council. And to be honest, without that, we wouldn't be sat here having this call. So yeah, incredibly fortunate to have been able to secure that and mean that we can still be going. Our core values. So we're a value-led organisation. We try and embody our values in everything we do. Our core values are honesty, respect, and kindness. I have some many little definitions of what I mean by those things. So honesty for us is about being transparent, being fair, and having courage in everything we do. Respect is about valuing and celebrating everyone's individual perspectives, goals, and needs. And kindness is about supporting and helping people with patience, love, and understanding. So we apply these values equally to everyone, especially our 4 participant groups. So that's our audiences, our staff, both freelancers and employees, our collaborators, which includes our venues, the venues we work with, the charities we work with, the sponsors we work with, and the partners, and to you guys, our artists. And we really hope that every team member, artist, collaborator, and audience member we work with also embraces and embodies these values too. As I've sort of alluded to a little bit throughout this, the size of the festival is vastly outweighs the size of the team behind it. I am forever amazed and indebted to the team that put so much into making this stupidly crazy big thing happen. There are no secret money men getting rich off this festival. It is just us. We are just trying our best to do something which I think is worthwhile, and that is the reason we keep doing it. So I would say just be kind to us and be kind to each other. This year has been really hard on every single person on this call, I'm sure. And I think that's what we could all do with right now. So that's my little spiel. And so I'm going to pass over to the wonderful Adam Gray, who's going to take on the next section.
Hi everyone, my name is Adam Gray. I'm the Executive Director of Vault Creative Arts. My pronouns are they, them, he, him. I look after some of the strategy, HR, finance and governance for the organization. I also kind of work, well, quite a few of us in the team actually kind of like work around partners and sponsorships to try to make sure that we've got enough support and we have help, and there's other kind of like stuff around us to be able to help deliver the festival. When we talk about partners and sponsors, we think really carefully around the ethics of the sponsorships and partnerships, and just to ensure that there is a suitable match between the ethos of the organizations. I was going to say something there about the Science Museum, but I won't, because they do help us, not only in terms of financially, but also to add more value to the festival as well. So we have we have sponsors and partners in various kind of different forms, including all the venues that we work with, because we work incredibly closely with them to ensure that all the activities and all the events are kind of like fun and that they're enjoyable spaces for everyone to participate and engage with. So obviously our key partner there is the Vaults, who's an amazing venue and organisation who we work so incredibly closely with, and eternally grateful for that long-term relationship. And also the Network Theatre around the corner on near Launcelot Street, and then Balti Towers and Zeno Tai, both on Lower Marsh, and then the Void Space on Elizabeth House. We also work really closely with We Are Waterloo and South Bank Bid, both of which are business improvement districts. So they're organisations within a particular geographical area where businesses invest in and make a contribution to those organisations, so they can then improve and invest in the environment and the facilities and everything around them. So we're really grateful to both those organisations as they support us in cash terms, but also in communications and opening up networks and in-kind support as well. We also have a range of agreements with particular suppliers who kind of like give us like really good deals as well. So like White Light, we've got like a really long-standing, fantastic relationship with them. And there's also various creative partners as well, such as Northern Stage, who we work really closely with. And then to unlock additional kind of sponsors and collaborations, we work with two wonderful people from Rosendale Partnerships, Rebecca and Ellie. So we work quite closely with them to try to unlock corporate sponsors in various different forms, and that may turn into activations and that you'll see over the duration of the festival, where there might be like a takeover of a bar or different kind of like creative activations or all manner of like kind of like fun bits and pieces. So yeah, so that's just a kind of like very quick roundup of some of our partners and sponsorships. More information will come, of course, but that's just a very kind of like quick overview. But I might just hand back over to Andy.
Thank you very much, Adam. Yes, so let's get into the meat of it. So we are, first of all, going to give you a little key information summary. A lot of what we're going to be talking about this evening is available on our Resources for Participants page on our website. So that is www.vaultfestival.com/resources. If you need to find it, if you're on a website, if you look under the Perform tab, you'll find it there. On that, there's basically sort of little subsections for marketing, for press, for production, technical, key information, and sort of we've tried to be as upfront and make as much information available to you guys as possible, so that you are never feeling in the dark, like you don't know what's going on. So I would say if you are responsible for everything in your production, have a look at that. If you have other people in the team that are helping look after specific things, make sure they know about it as well. Yeah, like I say, it's sort of designed to sort of try and be as upfront and as transparent as possible about how things work and how to kind of make the most of your time with us. So yeah, so you'll hear /resources mentioned a lot, so do check it out. Within that, I would sort of really encourage you, especially if you're kind of the producer of your show, to look at the key information document. It is the kind of top line things of, you know, the most important things at this stage to be looking at. It includes things about deadlines, it includes things about company artist passes, includes things about addresses and other kind of logistical things that you might want to know, and how to use Eventron and these sort of things. So yeah, have a check out of the key information doc available on the resources page, and hopefully that will kind of fill in a lot of gaps that you might have. So yeah, all of our information forms from you that we need in terms of general information, in terms of box office, in terms of marketing, is all submitted through Eventron, which I'm sure the fact you guys are all here and you're familiar with. But yeah, just to flag a couple of upcoming deadlines. So this Monday coming is the deadline. 8 o'clock this Monday is the deadline for your general information, your marketing, and your box office forms to be completed by. If we don't have the information by that point, we won't be able to put your show on sale as part of our full program launch on the 23rd of November. So please do kind of do your utmost best to get everything in by the 8th of November. If you have any problems with the form, or you need to access something, drop us a line. We're always happy to kind of help wherever we can. But yeah, kind of putting Monday, 8th of November, this Monday coming, as a big one. There are then a couple of other deadlines coming in January, the key, technical deadlines, front of house deadlines, and artist pass deadlines will kind of land in January. I'm not going to kind of list loads of dates at you, because that's not going to help. But if you look at the key information document in the resources page, that is where those ones are all listed out. Just a little flag on the technical ones is that it is dependent on when your show is happening. And I know sort of Sophie will kind of touch on these a little bit later, but it's dependent on when your show takes place as to when that deadline is. Finally, the festival dates. When is the festival happening? It's the 25th of January to the 20th of March. So it's 8 weeks long, and we very much encourage you to come down and support other shows. See, if you want to come down and see a show that's in your venue, and sort of make the most of all 8 weeks. We're really proud and pleased of the lineup we have this year, featuring all of your wonderful shows. And yeah, it's a real opportunity. Sometimes we get asked how to make the best of your experience of Vault Festival, and I think most of the best parts of Vault Festival happen in the bar, and meeting people and talking to people and networking and making collaborations that will last forever. So yeah, kind of come down and make most of it. 25th of January to 20th of March, and support each other through it. And we're now going to sort of just introduce quickly our representatives from our working group. So we've identified like the cornerstones of our organization, the things that we want to really hone and improve and be the best at we can. So these are accessibility, sustainability, and inclusivity. So I'm just going to sort of hand over back to Adam actually to just talk about the accessibility and introduce that side of things.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry, I forgot to do my visual description before. I am a white male in their 40s with long, greasy hair. I'm sat in a white room with a lovely painting of big red lips on the wall. A collection of us in the organisation work on the working group around accessibility to try to see how we can constantly improve our approach to it in so many ways. So we are working really closely with a fantastic organisation called Shape Arts, who are going to support us and advise us and help us out with loads of bits and pieces and just like their general expertise. And they're just a wonderful organisation. So it's a partnership we're looking towards having some impact this year in the festival, but also in a bit of a longer term way as well. So we've kind of, so far, we've identified like 3 key areas that we want to constantly seek to improve, which is around digital communications, physical space, and support for artists. So generally speaking, if you've got any questions or anything you want to bring up accessibility-wise, please feel free to drop me an email. I'm the executive director at, Adam Gray at festival.com. I always get my emails wrong. Yeah, so I will pass over to the lovely Grace to talk about Sustainability Working Group.
Hello, my name is Grace. My pronouns are she, her. I am a white woman. I'm 33. I have very thick hair that is always piled very high on top of my head. I'm in a navy jumper and I'm in my lovely bright yellow living room. So I'm part of the Sustainability Task Force. It's myself and a collection of Bolt Festival colleagues, and together we're exploring ways that we can make the festival more sustainable. We are looking at the moment about how to make sure we have a 100% sustainable build. So the festival is made all from reclaimed bits and pieces, nothing is wasted essentially. And then we're also looking at quite an exciting opportunity to help you guys be more sustainable and share your resources and ideas. It's early stages, but hopefully you'll find out more about that in some of your artist updates. So that's the Sustainability Task Force. We're very excited about it, and I'm going to hand over to Beck about diversity and inclusion.
Hi everyone, my name is Beck. I am the head of programming at Bolt Festival. My pronouns are she, her. I am a brown Australian woman in my mid 30s, and I have curly black hair that is also piled on top of my head, much like Grace, and I'm in a messy room, and I also have a salt and pepper miniature schnauzer on my lap called Luna. Her pronouns are she and her, or Bork, if you like. So myself, along with a few people in the organisation, are part of the Diversity and Inclusion Working Group, and as the name suggests, we're focused on improving inclusion and representation within the organisation, but also with all of the people that we work with. And that inclusion is across all demographics, from age to gender to sexual orientation to ethnic background, religion, ability, all of those kind of things. So you can catch me on Beck Martin at voltfestival.com if you have any thoughts about inclusion and representation within Bolt Festival, and send us over any ideas that you have, because we are very open to that, and we know there's so much interesting thinking around diversity and inclusion happening in the industry. I believe I'm moving straight into the programming section of tonight's meet and greet. So I'd like to introduce the lovely programming team before we get started. So let's start with Billy. Do you want to say hello?
Yes, thank you, Beck. Hello, my name is Billy. I am the head of comedy. My pronouns are she, her. I am a white woman who is 26 years old. I'm wearing a grey t-shirt, and I have sort of brown, unruly hair and some red lipstick on, and I am in quite an overly lit room, actually, with some pampas grass behind me. But yes, I am head of comedy. That is me. Shall I throw to Lolo?
Howdy, howdy. My name is Lolo Brown. My pronouns are she, they. I am a white gender fluid creature with shaved green hair and sparkly earrings. Red coat doesn't go with anything I'm wearing because I'm very cold. I'm in a dark, dingy attic in a pub at the moment because that's where the free Wi-Fi is. and I am the head of late night programming.
And Adele is also a member of our programming team as well, the artist development coordinator who you all met at the top of the call. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the programming ethos of the festival. And then we can get into the meat of what you're interested in, which is sort of all of the artist opportunities and things like that. So this year, well, 2022, we're on track to have about 650 to 700 shows programmed across the festival, which is the largest festival that we've ever put on. Part of this is due to growth and amazing, exciting artists presenting brilliant work. Part of this is also kind of COVID mitigation and wanting artists to present work without the risk of having to do longer runs. So we're trying to accommodate as many artists as we can. We have got some really extraordinary work this year, and it's really important. So we think about our programming. Our job is to present early and mid-career work that challenges and is exciting and entertaining and thinks about things differently. And it's really important that our program is incredibly representative and inclusive of the world that we see around us. So that's inclusive of all of those demographics that I spoke about before, but also inclusive of a wide variety of forms and approaches to making work, to thinking about theatre, comedy, cabaret, burlesque, drag, all of those things in a multitude of different ways. And we are so blessed in this country to have the most incredible artists that are thinking about work in all of these different ways. So we're so thrilled to have you all and many, many more people in the festival. Yeah, it's very exciting. I think that will do for my voice for a moment. So I'm going to throw back over to Adele, who's going to speak about artist opportunities.
Hello all, me again. So I'll just run you through some opportunities we have lined up for you. So the first thing to note is to pay attention to the artist update that gets emailed out to everyone every week. And that will contain a lot of really useful information. So make sure you're getting those each week. Do check your spam folders because sometimes they can go through to there. And if you are not getting it, get in touch with myself or the marketing team and we will figure that out and make sure you do get it. So from the week beginning the 22nd of November, we're going to start doing department drop-in clinics. So each department will kind of have an hour of their schedule per week where people can book in 15-minute slots to ask questions about their show. We'll put out more information on that and how to book in for those in the artist update. So do look out for that. That's where that will be. I have also put together a program of pre-festival workshops. So these are workshops that are going to help you all get prepared for your run at the festival. So do check them out. You'll be able to sign up for those in the Artist Opportunities tab on Eventtron, where you RSVP'd for this lovely event. So you'll find that in the same place. You can find a program of all the workshops taking place before the festival in the resources page on the website. And there's all sorts of things. We have internal workshops being done, how to run your press campaign, how to run a technical rehearsal at Vault, how to self-produce. And then we have partner workshops being done by different organizations. We have one on keeping your production sustainable, accessibility, justice in performance. So look through those, that program. It will be very useful to you, and they're all free and they're all online for Vault artists. Workshops with partner organizations are limited capacity, so they are first come, first served. So do make sure you book on those as soon as you know you want to go. Our internal workshops, there's no cap on participants. So do let us know you're coming, but it's open to all. So don't worry about those too much. And then when we get into the festival, there'll be a whole other program of in-festival artist opportunities and development. So look out for that. There'll be much more information on that as the months go past. Another thing I want to let you know about are artist passes. So you'll see on Eventstron as well, in one of the tabs, you have an artist passes tab, and that needs to be filled out by the 4th of January. Otherwise, any passes that are added after that date do have a 2-week turnaround time. So do make sure you put in those ahead of the deadline as much as you can. And these passes are really important. They will get you into shows if there's space for after the public has gone in for free throughout the festival. They'll get you a discount at the bar, and they are also very integral to security on site. So it is important that everyone in your team has one of those and is put in correctly. So make sure you keep an eye on the deadlines and put those in there. And that's all I have to talk about on my end for now. I'm just going to open up for a few minutes of questions for programming and artist opportunities. So if anyone has a question for us and our team, make sure you preface it with question, and then we will take those and I will field those to the team. So let me see in the chat.
There's one for you actually, Adele,
Yeah.
from Claire, which is, we can't make some of the workshops as a team because they'll be in R&D. Will they be recorded?
So it is something we're looking into. Our partner workshops, we can't record them, but our internal workshops, we are looking at recording those. So if we're able to do that, we'll let you all know and we'll put those available. But from what I can imagine, those will be available to those who can't attend. And I can see another question. Hi Adele, I clicked submit too early on the artist opportunities page and now can't respond to upcoming ones. Yes, that is an issue. I'm fixing that on Eventstron. So if anyone finds their artist opportunity page is unlocked, do email me. I'll unlock it for you, but I should hopefully by tomorrow be able to unlock all of those en masse. But if you're having a problem signing up to anything, just email me and I will fix it for you. Let's see, any more questions?
So there's one here, Adele, about a visa that I might field. So from Taco or Taco, apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, but could you advise me what kind of visa to ask for at the embassy? They told me to ask the festival. We are not, we don't qualify to sponsor people, to international artists to come to the festival. So it will be hugely dependent on what country you're coming from. If you are making work that is being paid by the artists, or if you're doing profit share or things like if you're working outside of that. So it's not really a question that we can answer, but what we can provide is a letter of support. So you can email me, beckmartin@vaultfestival.com. If you need a letter of support, that's for visas or for any funding bids or anything like that. And I can provide on your behalf a letter of support. But unfortunately, we're not able to help sponsor a visa or tell you exactly what type you need.
Thank you so much, Beck. A question, this might be more of a production side question, but I'll field it to the group. We have a question from Zena asking, will there be any space to store set during the run and how big will it be? Maybe Andy, do you want to field that?
Yeah, very happy to. Yeah, so each venue has got storage space, normally within the space itself. It is shared between the companies in that venue that week, and it does. There is a bit. It varies depending venue to venue. The best thing to do if you're concerned about storage space is to email stage@vaultfestival.com. Hannah, who's our head of stage, hasn't officially sort of come on board. Well, is starting to work sort of part-time with us at the moment. Will come on board more towards January, but she'll be able to kind of make plans for storage if you have kind of particular concerns. You can also email Ursula, who's our head of production, on production@vaultfestival.com as well, if you need more urgent responses. Yeah, Hannah and Ursula will be your go-tos for sort of more detailed answers on storage. I would also say we try and list the sort of storage in our tech specs. So on the resources page, tech specs are available. And so you'll be able to see the kind of the meterage, square meterage that we have available for sort of between the shows.
Lovely, thank you very much, Andy. I'll just do a couple more questions before moving on. And remember, if you do have questions that get unanswered, you can join the breakout rooms at the end of the session to ask people from that department. So I have a question from Grace Carroll. She said, we haven't cast our show yet. Do you recommend that we get our show cast before January, the deadline in January, to ensure they get artist passes? It's not mandatory, but you just have to bear in mind that there is a 2-week turnaround time. So obviously the earlier you are in the festival, you're going to want to get that in as soon as possible. And if you're going to want to be using it from when the festival begins, yes, try and get that in before the deadline, but it's not mandatory. Another question. We have questions about seeing, from Jack, about seeing photos of Sino Thai. Does anyone have an idea of whether we have photos of that space available?
I can answer that. I know that Sino Thai, we have a very rough tech spec, as it's a new venue that we're using this year. So there aren't pictures of the space in sort of set up for shows at the minute, but I am very happy to provide a bit of a tech breakdown if you'd like to email me. I am comedy@vaultfestival.com, and I can send over what we've got, but at the minute it's looking unlikely that we'll have photos of the space until a bit further along.
Thank you, Billy. I'm just going to take one more question at this point before moving on.
I think there's one, Adele, there's one more on programming, and the rest are kind of tech-wise, so we can get to them a little bit later. But the one on programming is, how many of the shows do you think the Vault team will be able to attend? Well, I mean, how long is a piece of string, really? I go to as many shows as I possibly can. We host about 70 to 80 shows a week, so obviously one person can't see them. But across the team, across the programming team, we would expect to see most of your shows. If you particularly want us to come on a particular night or anything like that, you can always drop us an email. But we will do our utmost to make sure somebody from the team sees every single show as best as possible.
Lovely, thank you, Beck. So on that note, we are going to move on to the marketing and press team. So I will hand over to Josh, who's our head of communications, to do some team introductions.
Thank you, Adele, and hi everyone, and welcome. It's lovely to digitally meet you all. My name is Josh. As Adele mentioned, I'm the head of communications for Vault Festival. I'm a British white man in my mid-30s with ear-length brown hair, and I'm wearing a dark cardigan and sat in front of a bookcase. My pronouns are he and him. The communications team is made up of myself, Grace and Izzy, who you'll be hearing from shortly, and Tom Shannon, who's our head of design. We'll also have a marketing assistant joining our team soon as well. Our responsibility as the comms team is to promote the festival and get word out about it as far and wide as we can, so that audiences come along to experience the rich kind of program of activities that we've got on offer, and of course to buy tickets to come and see all of your wonderful shows. We're also on hand to support you in a number of ways throughout your time with us to make sure you're getting the most out of your experience and getting as many people in to see the show as possible. And I'm going to hand over to Grace and Izzy, who are going to talk to you a little bit about that and how we're going to do it. So Grace, I'll hand over to you.
Hello again. I'm Grace. You met me earlier, but I am the person that is behind marketing@vaultfestival.com. So when you email that email, that's who you're going to get. I'm just going to flag a couple of things. As Josh said, we're here to support you. We're here to find ways to help you market your shows at Vault Festival and get the audience that they all deserve. One thing I want to flag is that our festival marketing opportunities are available for you to look at on Eventatron from today. So these are exclusive deals that will help you market your show. They include adverts in our 10th anniversary brochure, our flyer deal, which can help you get your flyers out all over London, and also opportunities on various digital platforms across theatre, comedy and lates. There is no upfront cost to these, so any costs are taken out of your settlement at the end. They are a bit limited, so it is on a first come, first serve basis. But as I say, they are open for you to have a look. And the booking for them doesn't open until Monday at 9 a.m. And that is in order for you to just have a look, take your time, assess which ones are right for you and your budget, because some will be right for you and some will be right for comedy or, you know, various things like that. So take your time, have a look at them and see if there's anything there that's right for you. The deadline for these are the 30th of November. So you've got plenty of time to have a look, but I really would urge you to have a look because there's some really good ones on there. I'm going to urge you to have a look at the Marketing Toolkit, which you will find in the resources section of the Vault Festival website. Here is essentially what is like a one-stop shop for how to market your show at Vault Festival. It's full of tips and tricks and hints, and it really importantly has information about our poster and flyer policy. That is super important, so please do have a good read of that. It's on the resources, I'll say it again, page of our website. That's all from me. If you need any advice or questions about marketing, you'll get me at marketing@vaultfestival.com. And I'm going to send over to Izzy to talk about press.
Hi everyone, I'm Izzy. I am a 31-year-old white woman. I have long ginger hair and a nose ring, and I'm sat in Grace's spare room, which has bright pink walls. We don't always live together, we just currently are. Yeah, I, like Grace, am the kind of person on the other end of press at. So if you get an email from press at, that's me. This will be my third festival in 4 years. So if you've been here before, you probably have kind of spoken to me before and also booked press tickets before. But if you're new to the festival, I'd really recommend checking out the resources page. Again, there's a press and media section. There's a few things in there that are really useful. The first one is there's kind of a timeline for when to contact press. This is something we get asked about a lot, but we usually say sending out a release to press and media is usually about kind of 4 to 6 weeks before your show. So that means if you're at the end of the festival, this is probably something you're not thinking about right now. This will be kind of late January. One thing I've been asked a lot over the last week is that Eventotron does ask you to upload a press release before you go on sale. We totally understand that, again, if your show is quite late on, you're probably not at that stage yet. And equally, you might not have cast, things might change. So if you do create a press release a bit later, or you want to update an original release, you can email me and I can kind of manually put that on file for you. So don't feel like once you've uploaded something, that's it. That's an ongoing process and an ongoing conversation. I think it's probably also worth saying that we also know that press is not something that's applicable to every show at Vault. The nice thing about the festival is that there are a lot of work in progress shows or shows that are in a really early sort of iteration. You absolutely are not obligated to have press at your show if you don't want to. That's something you can opt into on Eventotron. It's also something you can change if you get closer to the show and think, actually, I am happy for press to attend, or kind of reversely, you'd rather not have them in, the show's not quite ready. That's an ongoing conversation that, again, I'd encourage you to email me for a chat. Also on the resources page is a kind of guide to how to write a press release. We know this can be quite a new thing for artists, especially if you're not bringing on a PR. There's some really useful tips there, but I am equally really happy to read over press releases. So if you're writing one, putting one together, and you want a fresh pair of eyes on it, I'm very happy to do that. So just sling it over to press at and I'll give you some thoughts. And the last thing you'll find on there is the press ticket form. So press tickets are kind of the main part of my job from about January. To put it in sort of number terms, in 2020, I think we booked about 1,700 press tickets across the festival. So as you can imagine, they're coming in from a lot of angles. Most of those are artists booking in their own tickets. So there's a form on the website. It's just a really simple Google form where you just put in the details of the ticket. That comes to me. I book that for you and send you a confirmation. Occasionally, press might approach me or our PR agency and ask to come and see your show. When that happens, we'll always let you know. So you're able to kind of approve that. And yeah, it's quite a simple system, but obviously we know if you're having a big press night, you might have 20 odd press to book in. So bear with us. We usually say if you can give us at least 36 hours, that's really helpful. But if you get someone booking in last minute, again, drop me an email, that's fine. Yeah, and I'm gonna hand over to Rosie to take over on sales and ticketing. Hello.
Hello everybody, lovely to see you all. My name's Rosie, I'm the sales and box office manager. My pronouns are she, her. I am a 29-year-old woman, I'm white, I've got shoulder length blonde hair, and I'm sitting in front of a very boring pale background at the moment as I've just moved house. Thanks firstly for everybody that's put their descriptions in the chat. It's getting me so excited and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody's shows at the festival as many as I can, and I'm sure a lot of you sitting around here are super excited to get your tickets on sale. So yeah, I am all things ticketing, so I am gonna make it short and sweet as I'm sure you have many questions. I guess the first thing to say is that my role is sales and box office manager. So throughout the festival, I'll be in the festival office, but I'll also be around the box office as well. There will be a bunch of box office supervisors who will be on the ground, and there'll also be a team of welcome hosts selling tickets and selling merch and all wonderful things. This year, if you've done Vault Festival before, we used to use Spectrix, but this year we have moved everything over. So we're going to be using Eventatron, which is super exciting. I mean, if you're geeky like me, you're like, yes. It's just really fun because it means that everything is based in one place. I've done shows before, so I know what kind of things you're going to be after, like how many tickets you've sold, how much money you've made, which shows are looking a bit light, which shows you need to push. And the really exciting thing is that you can see that in live time. I'm going to send you over to the website and say, go to the resources, because there is a lot of stuff there that I've compiled. But basically on your Eventatron, on where you found the link to see this, you can go onto your performances and see what tickets you've sold, which I personally think is very exciting because you don't need to pull a report, you don't need to do anything like that. You can just see that. So for me, that's good. I hope you agree. The second thing I want to talk about is just about booking comps. So that's tickets that you want to take out of your allocation, people that you want to come to the show that you don't want to pay. So for every performance that you have in your venue, we will have held 4 tickets, but they are not held off sale, if that makes sense. So you can book in 4 people of your choice into any performance. So what I would say, because they're not held off sale, if your director who's from Aberdeen is coming down for one night and you know they're going to be there for that one night, once you're on sale, book that in. Because if you're very lucky to sell out immediately, we can't accommodate for the comps once those tickets have gone. I see some people nodding. That's good. I'm glad it makes sense. That can all be done on Eventatron 2, which is very exciting. So where you can see your sales, you'll also be able to book in your comps. Just going to reiterate that that is 4 per performance. If you need to go over that, there is a fee to pay. It's 30% of your ticket price plus £1.50. All of this is in the document that you'll see. That doesn't include press and things like that. So I would just recommend having a good read of the document on the website just to get yourself kind of clued up with the comps policy that we have. The next thing I want to talk about is just about discounts. So I know quite often people want to discount their show, get people along for community outreach purposes, or maybe you just have a night that's looking a bit light. This year, we're requesting sort of a 72-hour lead time. What this means is just you will need to submit a form. That form can be found in the document that I've been talking about, which is in the resources section in the box office and ticketing section on our website. What this is just basically so we can get everything set up for you. We will send you an email once that's all set up. But also it just means if you come to the box office for your show that's this evening, like, I need a discount setting up, we can't promise that we can do that. Just make sure that you're looking forward. Like I said, you can always see your sales like in real time. So hopefully that will mean that you can kind of see which ones might need a little bit of a push early on. The next thing is just merchandise. If you've got an amazing t-shirt, CDs, anything like that that goes along with your show, and you'd quite like to sell it through our box office, we can do that. We will take 10% commission plus VAT, but it's all good. Just send me an email and we can get that set up. It'll be sort of, we won't be selling it through our website or anything. It'll be when we're actually open, when the festival is live. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything ticketing wise. Like, I'm sure there'll be more questions and things about your specific shows. Feel free to come in the breakout room and ask me those, or you can always catch me. My email is boxofficemanager@vaultfestival.com. And I'll pass you back over to Adele.
Hello. So now we're just gonna take a few minutes to take questions on marketing, press and sales. So I believe we already have a few from previously, so I will go straight ahead. And we have a question that said, we will have a trailer ready after the marketing deadline. Can it be added/used after? Grace, thoughts?
Yes is the short answer. Yes, all you need to do is email me and I will unlock your Eventotron form for you, so you can then upload that trailer to Eventotron and hit submit again. So yeah, just drop me an email when it's ready and I'll unlock the form for you.
And I think another one for Grace. I now have a producer for my show. If I want her to start receiving the Vault emails, do I do that through Eventotron? If so, how?
Probably easiest thing to do is just to email me and I'll drop them on the, if you just give me their name and their contact email, I can put them on the MailChimp list directly. So that's fine.
Thank you. If anyone has any other questions, we have one from Rita.
So just jump in on that last one about Eventotron, is that you can add multiple users to be able to log into your Eventotron and fill in different bits. So if you've got a stage manager who's looking after your technical side of things, or you've got a PR looking after your press side of things, you can add users in the profile part of your show, and then they can log in and be able to submit information for you. So if you have got people on your team, feel free to use that function and add people in that way as well.
Can I also add to that, you can change anything on Eventotron. So if you want to change the copy for your show, if you want to change the creative team or anything like that, not just who's being contacted, but an actor's dropped out, and all of that, you just log into your event and you can change all of that, and then we'll see it on our side when we update it.
Thank you. So we have a question that says, the press release is 4 to 6 weeks before the show. However, we do have Christmas in the middle. Given that my show starts February 1st, would it be better to just do it in the new year if I decide to do one? Izzy, do you have any thoughts?
Really good question, and probably applicable to quite a lot of the sort of week 1 and week 2 shows. Yeah, I would probably wait till New Year. Christmas, inconveniently, sort of tends to take up a lot of headspace for people, including reviewers. The good thing is that obviously we have our big on sale dates, and a press release does go out from our PR agency about that. It can't mention every show, obviously there are hundreds of them, but it does really kind of remind the press that it's happening, shows are on sale. A lot of press go straight to the website and have a look and start putting their list together based on that. So you might find press start booking in from your show going on sale, and it's fine to wait to the new year for a press release.
Thanks, Izzy. I have another question that says, we are awaiting funding confirmation for the Vault's run, but had previous support from a number of partners. Would you recommend uploading the previous partners' logos and then uploading the new ones later down the line? Anyone from the marketing team? Josh, perhaps?
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes, you can. You'll just need to pop marketing@vaultfestival.com an email to let them know that you'd like your form released, and then you can upload the new logos, and those will appear automatically on the website.
Thank you very much. And I think that's it for questions for now. So I'm going to pass on to Sophie, who is our producer and general manager, and she is going to talk about the technical and production side of things.
Hi everybody, as Adele alluded to, my name is Sophie and I'm the producer and general manager for Vault Festival. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a brown woman in the latest of the 20s with a grey jumper on and long brown hair. So I am here on behalf of the production and operational team. So I'll just sort of like introduce some of these names that you'll hear constantly coming up who aren't able to be on the call today. The first person is our head of production. Her name is Ursula Caswell. And I'm sure that you've all seen her sort of on the website or her name mentioned before in this chat. We also have in the production team Marek, who's our production manager, and Sarah, our technical manager, and Hannah, our head of stage, Paul, our head of lighting and video, Ben, our head of sound, and Emma, our production and technical coordinator. So these are all some names that might be helpful for you guys all along the way. And unlike some of our other departments, we do ask and sort of encourage everybody to get directly in touch with the relevant department if you've got specific technical questions. So you can get in touch with Paul at lighting@vaultfestival.com, for example, to ask a specific lighting question. So that's sort of a bit of an introduction to the technical team. We also have in the operations department, which broadly covers front of house and bars, we have George, our head of operations, Mimi, our head of bars, and who you'll probably definitely be hearing from, Liz, our customer experience manager, and H, our front of house manager, and you'll be hearing from them sort of within 1 week or just a bit longer out from your shows, and the same with production. The first thing to quickly mention regarding technical is the open days which are coming up. You'll all be able to book slots for those on Eventatron shortly, not shortly tonight, shortly in the next couple of weeks. These dates, just for your calendars, are for the lates at the Vaults, that's on Monday the 13th of December. Otherwise, for all other shows at the Vaults, it will either be the 30th of November, the 14th of December, or the 4th of January. At Network Theatre, that's going to be the 6th of December, and Vaulty Towers, the 4th of January, and Sino Tai, the 5th of January. And as I mentioned, if you want to book in for those open days, please do head on to Eventatron where you can have a look at those. It's important for me to point out at this point that if you do book in for any of the open days to come down and have a look at the venues, that they won't be set up yet, so they won't be with all of the technical and sort of blacks and the staging all installed yet. They will be relatively blank spaces, but hopefully can be a really helpful resource for you to get your head around the spaces if you're interested in that. The next thing I'll do is encourage you all to head on over to the website where we've got loads of resources and support and guidance on everything production and technical. The first thing that everyone will probably be interested in at some point is going to be the tech specs for all of the spaces. If you head onto our website and under Perform and resources for participants, you'll be able to find those tech specs. They are by space, and it's just, I want to point out at the moment that they're not completely finalized for this year. A lot of them are effectively what we had in 2020, but they will be very, very similar for 2022. And so if you want to have a look at those now, there'll be a really good guidelines to do that, but they will all be finalized before the open days that I just mentioned. The other super helpful document on the resources page is our production and technical guidance. This has got tips and information on PLI, which is public liability insurance, PPL and PRS, which is the what you have to pay in order to use music in your shows, and also risk assessments and technical deadlines, but also some fun information about whether or not you can smoke on stage, or how to use haze, or if you've got replica guns and weapons in your shows. So that's really got a load of information in it that should hopefully answer 90% of all questions. But then it also does point you in the right direction of either lighting, sound, stage, video, in order to kind of direct your questions if they're not answered in there. The next thing I want to touch on is tech rehearsals, as I'm sure everyone's really curious when you find that out. In that production technical guidance, as I mentioned, there is a breakdown of how many different hours you get for your tech rehearsals, but we will send out the tech schedules for you all by the 10th of December. The other things to just quickly mention is you can book in rehearsal spaces with us. It is a really affordable way to rehearse when the festival's on. You can do this via a Google form on that document, and you can also book in crew with us, which is also on that form. What we'll say about crew quickly is that you are more than welcome to bring your own crew, but we do have the ability to help you source crew and technicians. That can be for your technical rehearsals and also operators for your shows as well. Otherwise, what else is important to say? Technical deadlines, that's probably my last thing to touch on at the moment. There is a staggered deadline for the tech deadlines. This is for basically when you have to submit your risk assessments and other technical paperwork. This depends on the date on which your performance falls. So there is more information about that on the website as well, on the same, if you go to perform and resources for participants, it's right there down at the bottom, technical deadlines, so really easy for you to find. But it's the 4th of January, the 18th of January, the 1st of February, or the 15th of February. So that kind of gives you an idea about the different staggered dates that we have for the technical deadlines. And then the front of house deadline, which is information about latecomers policies and other similar information, is due 1 week prior to your performance. So that's everything I will say now on that. And I'm going to hand over to Andy to have a chat about a little pandemic that's been happening for the last 2 years and what we're doing about it.
It's been a whole hour since we mentioned COVID. Well, so we are obviously putting together lots and lots of mitigations. We had a presentation this afternoon of 2 hours worth of talking about all the things we're doing. The main headline I want to sort of mention now is that one of the policies that will be in place is that all artists and performers that are part of the festival will need to present an NHS COVID pass in order to access the venues. This is something that we'll be asking of our staff, our audiences, and our artists. So this can be proof of double vaccination. It can be having had COVID in the past 6 months and it being on the app. And or having taken a lateral flow test in the 48 hours prior to kind of coming on site. This is something that you'll need to show when you come in and out of the venue each day. You'll get a stamp to show that you've been checked, but it's just to make sure that we can keep everyone as safe as possible. And we'll be in touch very soon with a few of the other policies, but those are they shouldn't be kind of anything to, the idea is they shouldn't inconvenience you at all. But it should help keep everyone nice and safe and comfortable. So yeah, we'll be in touch very soon with the kind of summary of the key points for you. I'm going to hand back over to Adele to roll into production technical stuff.
Hello, everybody, again. So the first one isn't directly production, but I think Sophie can handle this very well. If applying for ACE funding, can we include the free vault workshops as support in kind? And if so, how would you recommend we cost that up? Do you have any thoughts, Sophie, or anyone?
Yes, which is you absolutely can. We are more than happy for you to include anything that we provide or support you with in your ACE applications. So that's absolutely fine. In terms of how we would recommend that we cost that up, obviously we don't have a sort of strict, this is worth X. I would say maybe £100 seems reasonable per workshop. But all I know, and this is from my own experience of putting these applications in for Vault Festival and producing shows, is that the Arts Council are just concerned that it is similar to a market rate. So if you see another similar workshop that it costs money, you are able to put that amount down. So that's absolutely fine. But I think that £100 is probably a fair start on that. But yes, you can put that down. You can also put down other support that we might be providing you, or you can sort of see that in various guidance that we've got, including sort of technical support and the space itself, and kind of even like clinic time that you can book in with the marketing department and general marketing support. We're more than happy for you to put that in. Just a quick note though on ACE, you don't have to have match funding anymore. They've changed the guidance, so you don't have to do that, but we're happy for you to.
Just on that, Sophie has really kindly costed up a bunch of our in-kind support that I've been sending out to people who are doing their funding applications. So if you want to shoot me an email, if you are doing a funding application and want to know a rough costing of some of our support, you can do that and I'll send it over to you.
Thank you. Next question is, what are the PLI requirements for performing at Vault? And do we have any advice about insurance for different types of performance and where to get it?
Yeah, so we also have can help you with your insurance, with your PLI and ELI, and even sort of other types of insurance that you might need. That is all covered in the production guidance pack that I mentioned earlier. We are also more than happy for you to go to your own brokers and get your own PLI or ELI. Some of you might even have insurance covered under equity, or your unions or another way. So you don't have to go through us, but we do have a really affordable and easy way of accessing this.
Thank you, Sophie. Tech-wise, will we get to meet the other artists using the same venue while our run is happening and coordinate with them with their tech needs, like lighting adjustments, for example? Andy, perhaps?
Yeah, happy to take this one. Sort of. In terms of lighting adjustments, we operate on a kind of fixed rig policy, so that there is fixed lights and sound that can't be changed. That said, we also try and put as many moving lights and LED color changes in our lighting rigs as possible to make them as versatile as possible. So one light can be doing many things in many different shows. On top of that, most of the venues can accommodate specific specials, whether that's a specific spotlight, and those can be kind of booked in. Sometimes there'll be a charge for them depending on the piece of equipment, and that can be sort of booked in. Either you can sort of liaise with Paul, our head of lighting in advance, who's on lighting@vaultfestival.com, or it can be booked in, or you can kind of request it on the tech form as well. So it depends how much you want to kind of clarify before you fill in your form. Yeah, so we won't kind of make you kind of pair up and just, we'll try and kind of deal with a lot of the interactions between artists, but also we do really encourage to kind of a collaborative approach to the venues each week. The shows will change will change most days. There'll be some shows that just do one night, some shows that do longer. So it will change each day, and we just really encourage a kind of collaborative approach to making sure the turnarounds work and making sure that everyone feels safe and comfortable, which is our priority.
Thank you. Another question asks, will we be able to book to rehearse in our spaces?
Yeah, happy to take this one. So on the rehearsal request, the rehearsal space booking form, you can put the dates you would like to request, and then you can put your venue preferences as well. And we will try wherever we possibly can to match you up with the venue that you're going to be in. If we can't, we'll try and give you a sort of similar venue. But yeah, as much as possible, we try and kind of give you your first preferences if someone else hasn't already booked it.
Okay, I'll take a couple more. I emailed a couple of the production email addresses earlier and got an auto reply saying that the Vault applications were now closed and that the email address was not monitored. Will the email address be open again soon?
I can take that. Yes, the short answer is yes, they will be monitored again soon. I did forget to mention that most of our production team work part-time, so please bear with us as we sort of get those gears back and moving, and also sort of in the lead up to the festival they do not work for us 5 days per week, so just keep that in mind. But they will all be monitored very soon, and you'll be able to get responses, but if you need any sort of quicker responses, you can always email production@vaultfestival.com or myself. I'm happy to. My email address It's a bit different to everybody else's. It's on the Meet the Team page, but it's sophie@vaultcreativearts.org.
Thank you, Sophie. I think I'm going to take one more before we do our breakout Q&As. So we have a question that says, are international COVID passes okay, or does it have to be NHS?
Yes. Yeah, no, sorry, that doesn't answer the question. International COVID passes are okay, yes.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to create the breakout rooms now. So just take 1 minute to chill out, and you can either leave now if that is what you need to do. But if you have any questions for the team, we'll be breaking out into separate rooms, which you can select yourself. You can also wait in the main space if you'd like, and our wonderful Adam will be staying in there to hang out with everybody. So if you're leaving us now, thank you very much for attending. We really, really appreciate it, and we're super excited to have you in the program. If not, and you have questions for our different departments, just hang on one moment and then you can join your breakout rooms. Thank you, everybody.